Hey, how's it going? Brian Bowman here, and I hope you're having a great day. Hope everything is going well this week for you. And today, I want to talk to you about something a little bit different than what I usually would talk about. I had a conversation with a friend, and they're going through some things. They're in a little bit of a slump or a lull. They're just not in the game. And he came to me for advice. And obviously, I'm not going to share who the person is or anything, but we had a conversation. I shared with him something that's very powerful for me when I'm feeling in that same place, when I need to get out of it and I need to get inspired and motivated and back in the game. And the traditional stuff of just, a vision board or just hyping myself up doesn't work because the reality is that up and down, if you feel that, you're not alone. So I'm just going to share what I shared with him, and it helped him. So hopefully it helps you, and that's what we're all here for. So if you've ever felt that where, I'm sure you have, I know I feel it regularly, is that feeling of being stuck, and the highs are high and they're amazing, but we all go through the downs. It's like up and down in these valleys. And if you ever feel like you're stuck, you're just not in the game, you need that inspiration. The first thing I want to assure you is it's absolutely normal, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're starting an entrepreneurial journey and you're doing this. Whether it's your first time or your 10th time, you're still going to go through it because nobody can be motivated all the time. And it's kind of a package deal. It just comes with the territory. So the first thing, honestly, is to give yourself permission to feel this way. I think this has been well documented. We see everyone's best version of themselves. People smile when they take pictures. They post things when they're feeling good, especially when if we have role models or people we look up to, we only see the good side. And because we don't see the days where it's difficult to get the gears going, it's difficult to feel inspired, to feel motivated, because we don't see that, it's easy to think it doesn't happen. So one thing is give yourself permission. It's a package deal. Every single person feels it. I absolutely assure you of this. I've had the good fortune of being around the highest performers you can imagine, and everyone feels this way. So number one is give yourself permission. It's a package deal. And here's the good part. And I feel like it's the other side of the coin. It's on the other side of pain, there's amazing power. There's tremendous power. The resistance equals the reward. It's like a math equation. So here's the good thing about going through it over and over again is you start recognizing it for what it is. You're like, oh, okay, I know this too shall pass, right? This will pass and it's okay. So it becomes a lot easier to give yourself permission. But when you're starting on the journey, sometimes you can feel like, man, am I the only one that feels this way? That I can't find my voice, that I can't find my differentiation in a market, that I can't find, I'm not making that first sale, whatever it is. It's different for every person, but just know that it's 100% normal. And I wish I could tell you it's going to go away. It's not. You're just going to be better equipped to deal with it and better equipped to see that, oh, this is going to pass as well. This ain't my first rodeo, right? And I'm going to get through it. So with that being said, I want to share with you what my number one strategy is for this. And there's a lot of things that I do. This is, if you ever hear me talking about walking in nature all the time, this has been one of, and this isn't the strategy I want to share with you, but this is one of the many things that I might incorporate into my routine. So the reason I walk in nature is because it makes me feel expansive. When I'm sitting in my office or I'm just working on stuff, I start to contract. That's not good. That's really not good for us as entrepreneurs. We are visionaries. We need to expand. When I go out and walk in nature, something about the uneven surfaces and the movement and seeing nature and connecting with it, all the devices are off. It starts opening me up again. So I get very expansive. So while that's not my number one thing I want to share with you, it's been very beneficial for me. Obviously winter's here, so it's a little bit difficult to do it regularly, but it's something that I would have you consider. And while we're at it, this is a little bit off the cuff. It's not what I intended to share with you. And I'm still going to share with you this number one strategy that I use and I go back to, and it's what I recommended to my friend. I'm now inspired to share this with you because a lot of times what can feel like burnout, what can feel like lack of inspiration, of motivation, self-doubt, that voice gets louder, this vicious cycle that can start happening. is actually the result of some deficiencies in our processes, like day to day as a human. There's 5 core things that you need. And I talk about this in our underground mastermind program. I just did a whole series on this with them. That before we start looking at supplements or looking at diet, big radical diet changes, or having to pick up or having to book a ticket to the next 3-day event of, techno music and hyping us up and all that, because that stuff never lasts. And there's benefit in networking, but if you're going there to recharge yourself, it's gonna fade away unless we cover this foundational stuff. So there's 5 core things. We call them the 5 core elements. And they're the 5 things you need as a human to function properly. And it's your sleep, air, water, movement, and diet. Okay. These are 5 core things that you first have to take care of. And, I can talk about these separately later on, but I want you to address all of these in conjunction with this one strategy I want to share with you that's very tactical, that I fall back on. But I want you to monitor, like, what does your water intake look like? You're probably dehydrated because like 80% of people are walking around dehydrated. There's a reason I carry this big 64-ounce jug of water. You can see this thing is dinged up. I wear this like a badge of honor. And I carry it with me everywhere, and I'm always hydrating. What's your sleep look like? Sleep hygiene is going to be the next. It's going to be the next topic in the future of, everyone's worried about plants versus animal-based diets and all this stuff. I think sleep is going to be the next thing that people talk about, because people are starting to realize they're abusing their bodies, and you can't, you can't function with, 4 cylinders shut down on your 8-cylinder car. Maybe you can. I don't know if you're a mechanic, you know better, but according to what I know, you can't. So you need sleep. Movement. So I love being outside, uneven surfaces, moving my body, not just working out. You look at blue zones, they all live, they have more people that live over the age of 100 than anywhere else in the world. They don't work out. They don't have gym memberships, but they move all the time. So movement. The other is your diet. Of course, diet matters. Just eat more veggies, eat cleaner. If it's processed, don't eat it. If it comes in a bag, eat less of it. Avoid sugar. Real simple stuff. I'm not going to get into debate about keto versus paleo versus vegan versus plant-based, all this other stuff. I'll let you explore that on your own, but go back to the basics. Try as much as possible. If it wasn't around 10,000 years ago, you probably don't want to eat it now, or you don't want to eat that much of it. And then the other is air. Sorry. Like, usually I talk about that one first. So that's why I was a little surprised it was at the end. Is air. It's funny when people decide they're going to get in shape, they start working out and they change their diet, right? They don't focus on sleep. They don't focus on water. They don't focus on air. Those 3 things, if you don't have those, air for 2 minutes, water for 3 days, sleep for, I think it's about a week, and you start like hallucinating. You don't have those for less than a week. You basically are either, 2 minutes, you don't breathe, doesn't end well. You don't hydrate for 3 days, doesn't end well. Don't sleep for about 7 days, doesn't end well. Yet everyone focuses on these other 2: movement, going to the gym, lifting weights, running, right? Which is good, but we got to focus on the others. Air is critical. Get out, get fresh air, do some breathing exercises, yoga, meditation. You ever wonder why all of these traditions focus back on the breath? Breath it's a gift. It's a gift of life. It's your breath, and to focus on it and to be mindful of it is super powerful. Okay. So I went totally off track, and you know what? When I feel it, I go with it. So hopefully I didn't lose you, but what is this strategy that I shared with my friend? As long as we've got those 5 core things covered, you're going to drastically reduce your chances of burnout. I can tell you this from personal experience. If there's a reason I carry this thing around. Okay. It's changed my life, literally. But that being said, we feel good, but maybe we're not just inspired. Maybe there's a little lack of belief in ourselves. So here's what I do. The same way that I create a swipe file for all of my businesses, I have all of my clients, all of my students, everyone in my program. One thing you're going to hear me say over and over and over again is create a swipe file. The best copywriters ever, the Dan Kennedys, the Gary Halberts, the John Carlsons, the greats, all had massive swipe files. What's a swipe file? It's like a cheat sheet of just great things you've seen, articles you've seen, promotions you've seen that have inspired you, that have made you go, whoa, that's good, have taken your attention. It could be a realtor that had an amazing billboard, a great headline, and you screenshot it, or you take a picture of it, okay? Swipe file is anything in your business from any industry, any vertical that's going to inspire you. That's how you create great copy, by the way. You don't just sit down and start whipping up copy. You have a swipe file and you start piecing it together. You're like, ooh, I like this headline. Oh, this is going to work. Wow, I could probably modify this headline. They all laughed when I sat down at the piano, but when I started to play, right? It's like, how can I adapt that to my business? So just the same way you have a swipe file for your business, you should have a swipe file for your life. And I call it the Superpower swipe file. So what is my Superpower swipe file? We all have a superpower. You have a superpower, and you probably, it's the thing you're probably best at, and you don't even recognize it. And it's okay, because it's what you've had all your life. If you were 7 feet tall and you just kind of only knew the world being 7 feet tall, and everyone else is 5 feet tall, and they're like, wow, you're tall. Maybe not the best analogy, but you see where I'm going with it. It's like, I don't know, this is what I've always known. Your superpower is something that you probably don't recognize, but others recognize it in you, and they've probably told you about it. And what do? If you're anything like most people, and like me, before I started practicing my Superpower swipe file, I'd say, oh, thank you. Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's it. And a few months later, someone texts you, thank you so much, Brian. You helped me through this. Thank you for that. Oh, no problem. I'm always there for you, right? So here's what I would have you do. And it's a little secret that I have. So if you've ever said anything positive, I've added it to my inspiration swipe file. You screenshot it. You take a picture of it. If it's a Voxer, so I use an app called Voxer. Sometimes people Voxer me something that I help them with something. I star it, and I keep my own little inspiration swipe file. So it's something I can go back to when I'm in a little bit of a low, right? And I'm just not feeling it, or maybe there's some doubt that creeps up. I listen to it, and I can have 4, 5, 6 messages. I can see it. There's all these other people recognizing this superpower that I have and that you have. And it's one of those things you can go back to and get like a boost. Like it can refocus you, it can get you back in the game. And it works really well. There is a reason why I just love I've always been this way since I can remember, since I was a little kid. I love taking the moment to recognize and elaborate on someone's superpower. I think it's kind of like one of my superpowers is seeing the superpower in other people like right away. So if I see it in you, not only do I want to tell you, oh, that was great because of this, I take a lot of joy in elaborating on it. It's why if you're in our intensive program, if you're in our underground mastermind program, you'll see me in there like hearting comments, and you'll see me in there replying back like, that's amazing. You are amazing at this. Because it's the ultimate win-win. The way I see it, it's not a zero-sum game. It literally is infinite, the amount of win, because I don't take anything from you. You take nothing from me. We both gain from this exchange. So that's why I love doing it. Try it. It's a lot of fun, and you're gonna feel amazing. They're gonna feel amazing. Everyone wins. And again, because I recognize how powerful it's been for me in my life when others do it, I want to take the time to be present and not just say, oh, you're a nice person or whatever, something very general, but like call out a specific thing and elaborate on it. And why do I think that's so cool? Because there's just more, there's that little extra effort. One, it makes you feel better. Yes, you got to take a minute to think about it, but it makes you feel better and it makes them feel amazing. And it forms now, instead of that virtuous cycle I talked about, or that vicious cycle, it forms a virtuous cycle that goes up and everyone benefits. So create your inspiration, your superpower swipe file, and make sure you're also creating your actual business swipe file. This is like a secret weapon in business. If you have this thing, it will allow you to whip up copy like that, allow you to think of promotions very quickly. It'll allow you to put amazing offers together that no one in your space is doing. So make sure you're doing that as well. And that's it. So go get after it. Realize that up and down is just part of the roller coaster. It's a package deal. We're all grappling with it. And this too shall pass. So go get inspired, get motivated, go get after it. Talk to you soon. Bye.